What's good? What's good? So we do actually have a lot going on right now, and it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. So last night, I mean, maybe I should change the light, but I don't know. You know what? I think from now on, what we'll do is we'll change the backlighting that I have back there when we actually get into the numbers. I think that's the best way to do it, and we can change the light together, and we can come to that conclusion. But we actually had a lot yesterday go on, right? We had NVIDIA's numbers come out. Now, the question is going to be, with NVIDIA's new numbers, right, which were outstanding numbers, are they going to crack a new high? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they fell hard enough that they're not going to crack a new high. They will do well, but they're not going to set a new high, which kind of tells me there's a kind of slowing going on, right? There was an overselling, and then there was a slowing going on. So when I look at that, I'm kind of like, okay, it's going to take some work. They're going to have to like stop dropping so hard after they report numbers. So I don't know. Zufar Masir, how are you? And I pray I pronounced that properly. I apologize if I did not. I do have issues with pronouncing people's names improperly. I hate that. I hate when I do that. But that could just be me. So there's a lot. There's definitely a lot going on in that space. What else do we have? Let's see. Let's get to the news. Kraken confidently filed for their IPO after being valued at about, I don't know, $20 billion. Remember, a few months ago, that number that they wanted to hit was 15. So the fact that they were able to get 20, huge. Now they're following on the heels of bullish Gemini, right? Circle. So you've got a lot of optimism going on right there. So we'll see what happens with that. You've got World Liberty Financial, obviously backed by the current regime, and his family faced a security breach with over 272 wallets being frozen. Hold that thought. Not only were they frozen, but $22.14 million worth of tokens were burned. Now, the big deal about this is the fact that the wallets were frozen. And it wasn't something that a lot of people knew that they could do. And in the community alone, that's causing a problem, let alone the fact that the president's family they're calling for investigation into this. Members of Congress are calling into an investigation, not into the incident, but how the family is making money, right? Things like, why is the family there when he's doing state visits and things like that? He doesn't have little children anymore, where the kids travel with mommy and daddy. That's not what's happening. So they want to look into how the president's making money. And I think that maybe it doesn't happen this year, but let me tell you, that could be a very big economic impact on things. We also have BlackRock registering a staked Ethereum ETF. That's going to be huge because that's where everything is going right now. Everybody's introducing staking. Remember yesterday I was talking about how you have banks that are fighting crypto stable coins or fighting stable coins. They don't want stable coins to be able to issue interest, right? Payments, rewards. And I said, well, if they're not going to allow stable coins to do it, people will just go elsewhere. Ta-da. If banks are trying to stop the hemorrhaging, right, that they foresee coming, or that they think is coming, right, the hemorrhaging of assets under management, they need to come up with a better idea than don't let them do what we do. I'm just saying, you cannot build trust based on, well, don't let them do what we're doing. They're not banks. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a massive problem for them. So yeah, I'm looking at all of those things and thinking to myself, banks had better redefine what a bank is and what a bank does. Really and truly. Because in a lot of ways, digital currency, or digital assets rather, are a lot easier to figure out than banks. Want a different product or service from a bank, if you're dealing with a different company and you've got to sign paperwork that says that you recognize all of those various different companies and their friends. That's a problem. And they just don't see it like that. And I'm like, well, don't see it like that. And you will see your customers leave to go elsewhere. As a matter of fact, there's a new report out. 35% of U.S. investors aged 18 to 40 shifted assets from wealth managers lacking crypto exposure, moving up anywhere between $250,000 and $1 million at a clip, driven by institutional adoption by BlackRock and Fidelity. The more you know. I'm just saying. So if you're looking at a financial advisor, young, wealthy, are saying, you don't know about crypto? How do you not know about crypto in this day and age? Sorry, can't deal with you. Moving on. So if you're a financial advisor and you want to learn about crypto, give me a call, buy my books. Yeah, no, shameless plug. But it's my show. It's all right. So it's okay. But I'm serious. Crypto Foundations for Building Multi-Generational Wealth. That gives you a foundation on what crypto is, where it comes from, how it was born, how it's used, who's using it, the different terms, everything. It's a reference guide. It really, truly is a reference guide. And it would be perfect for financial advisors, or actually anybody that wants to learn more about crypto. I strongly believe that people should understand where crypto was born from, why crypto was created. In comparison to where it is now, people would have a far better understanding. Because we've got the GMB3, right? Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Just saying, practice the GMB3. It is incredibly helpful. Incredibly helpful. But yeah, you don't know about crypto and you're a financial advisor, you're getting dropped like a hot rock. Dropped like a hot rock. And I want you to think about this. How do financial advisors make money? They don't really advertise all too tough. What do? Oh, their customers tell their friends. So if somebody leaves, there's a high possibility that others will leave. Get educated, folks. Get educated. Banks, step up your game and define what a bank is. Fighting crypto is not the way to go. Fighting digital assets is not the way to go. Having an understanding about digital assets and stepping up your own game is the way to go, in my humble opinion. Could just be me, but in my humble opinion. Abu Dhabi Council invested nearly $520 million, tripling their initial investment, and it was via ETF. Via an ETF, right? And they're saying, listen, that crypto is the way to go. And that's a country that has deep pockets. Very deep pockets. Now, I want you to think about something. When you start to contemplate where crypto is going, where it's coming from, who's investing, who's not investing, you start to realize they're doing it themselves. Another reason why financial advisors also need to join banks in redefining what they do. Right? That means financial advisors are probably going to go start getting specialized. Like, I know where the IPOs are. Then again, I don't know that if I was a financial advisor, I would walk down that road, because there are so many platforms that help companies that are going IPO or about to go IPO get money for their stocks, as well as companies that don't want to go IPO get investors. So that might be out the window too. That used to be a thing back in the day. It's not really something right now, not anymore. Then you have advisors that might actually wise up and say, you know what? I'm going to specialize in crypto. I'm licensed. I'm going to start taking deep dives into different coins so that I can actually advise my clients on various coins, trends, sectors. I'm going to take a deep dive. I'm going to take my knowledge and experience in stocks, bonds, options, futures, Forex, whatever, and dive into crypto with those same tools. And because I have those analytical tools, I might be able to still help my clients And if I do it right, not only will I be able to help my clients, but I'll be able to go snatch their clients. Just a thought, folks. Just a thought. All right. Then you've got Brazil crypto users face Eternidade. Stealer. It's a malware via WhatsApp. It's a worm. And it's targeting financial data through social engineering, highlighting risks in Brazil's marketplace. That's not small. The reason why I bring that up is because it's happening in Brazil, but I want you to pay attention to that here. Always be awake at what's going on. Just saying. That's a very big deal to me. Bitcoin fell below 90,000. We all know this. That wasn't fun. It's at 91.6 right now, which is good. But we'll get into the numbers in a little bit. What else do we have? Hyperliquid slashed taker fees by 90% to 0.00144% to 0.00288% for high volume users. Hype fell 6% to 37.54. But I'm telling you, Hype is one of those platforms that I believe in. No, I'm not shilling Hype or anything else like that, but I am revealing that I do have it as one of my bags. So you know I'm going to be honest, right? I'm telling you. So I bought it because I like it. I did my research, did my own research, right? I understood my entries and exits, and I absolutely invested deliberately. I took it through its paces, right? I also, not only did I research it to the hilt, but I also looked at my risk framework that I've developed, my gut, right? And came out with good investment. I'm looking for things that have use case. I'm not looking for things that have a cute name. That was before, made some money. Right now, going forward, all about use case. And I will buy things. And I just realized this is a revelation. I buy things not just based on the use case, or not only for use case alone, but also because if they have a strong use case, when the great culling comes, right? When that comes, that's when things fall off. That's when mergers and acquisitions happen. If you have a strong use case, instead of falling by the wayside, other companies might want to buy you, or you might be in a position to buy other companies. That's right. I'm looking for survival. I'm looking for survival when that great culling comes. Just saying. What else do we have? Global regulators, including the Basel Committee, are overhauling their crypto regulations. Basel Committee overhauling their regulations is actually huge. That's not a small thing either. We have Bitwise Asset Management launched a spot XRP ETF. That's not the surprising thing. Launches today, by the way, people. The Bitwise XRP ETF launches today. You want to know what its ticker symbol is? It's XRP. That has the community like, what? Yeah. You couldn't call it BXRP or something like that. No, you called it XRP. And there are some people out there that are miffed about it. Do I think it's going to have a huge impact? No, but I think those in the XRP army are kind of miffed about that. I'm miffed about that. Why? It causes confusion. It causes confusion. It's the dumbest thing in the world. Hear me out. If you're one of those people that you have a spreadsheet and it goes out to the internet and it grabs information based on ticker symbol, the ticker symbol for an ETF is going to look like the ticker symbol from a crypto. That's when you're going to have a problem. That's when you're going to have a problem. You don't do that. And whoever thought about that was dumb. I think the same thing about MicroStrategy, changing their name to Strategy. I think that's the dumbest thing in the world. I think it's stupid to name your company a real word that gets used a lot. I think that's dumb. But then again, you kind of sit there and you kind of go, is it really that dumb? Because whenever you say strategy, you'll think Michael Saylor. I don't think Michael Saylor when I'm standing in front of a client talking about their revenue strategy or their program management strategy, or their technology stack. I'm not thinking about Michael Saylor. I'm thinking about the word strategy. So when you go out there and you want to do research on strategy, how do you do that? You've got to be more specific, and you got to really dig in. You've got to do a search instead on MSTR or one of the other ticker symbols that they have. That will help you pinpoint it. Sadly, that's not necessarily going to show up in every article where MicroStrategy or strategy is concerned. So the same thing is going to happen with XRP, I believe. It's going to cause confusion. So Bitwise, bit stupid if you ask me. Just saying. In that instance, they could have done better. I think they got lazy. Anthropic plans to spend $50 billion on infrastructure in the United States, partnering with FluidStack. Why? Data centers. Just saying. Data centers. Institutional investors injected $13 million into Marathon Digital Bitcoin investments, and they want to move into AI. Just saying. MEXC launched a monthly proof of reserve audit via Hacken, ensuring 100% user fund reserves with real-time transparency, positioning itself as a trust leader in post-FTX market space. Here's the problem with that. We're so far beyond the FTX debacle that when I see this news, I don't see it as a positive. I think MEXC is stupid. I think the executives over at MEXC are dumb, because they should have been on board with this ages ago. That would have spurred growth, trust, and gotten them to where they need to be sooner. I think it's dumb that they took this long. I'm glad that they're doing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad that they're doing it. But taking this long to do it, and the company you choose to do your audits is a company called Hacken. Perception is reality, is what I'll say. Perception is reality. So just saying. Just pay attention, folks. Pay attention. There's more there. There's got to be more. What else do we have going on? That's right. We should get into the numbers. And nobody told me that I don't have my logo up. Come on. You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. So we'll do this. Let me get my notes out of the way. That's how you know that I actually put in the work. Let's see. Markets. Dow futures implied open 233 points up. S&P futures open implied open 75 points up. NASDAQ futures implied open 380 points up. Good morning, Hutanic. But does that mean that the market is actually rising? So I know it sounds funny, but does it? So I don't know, but we'll change it to green. No big deal. But I'm keeping an eye on the markets because we were oversold before, and to me, Nvidia's good news just means that people are now breathing, and hopefully they're realizing that, oh, we are oversold. Maybe we'll put money back in. Right now, money is flowing back into the stock market, not really the crypto market, and I'll show you that in a moment. Whose earnings are we expecting today? Walmart, Intuit, NetEase, Ross Stores. Who else am I paying attention to? Warner Music Group. Who else do we have? Esco, Bath and Body Works, Webull. Definitely paying attention. So you have some really good companies that I'll be paying attention to today. Just saying. U.S. market reports. Supposed to get some kind of a jobs report today, but guess what? Future jobs report, going to be hanging on pins and needles. I thought YouTube was giving you some issues with the logo. No, they're not giving me issues with the logo. It was the other day I had to use a different way of getting on, but now we're back at it. We're back to some sort of normalcy. So we expect jobs numbers today. I think the jobs numbers for October are going to be delayed. I think they were supposed to come out it's either October, November numbers supposed to come out December 5th. They're not going to come out until December 15th. I'm just saying there are issues. There are issues. Good morning to Bluey, by the way. Sorry about that. When I think about the jobs numbers, they don't want you to know the jobs numbers. They know. I don't think jobs are doing as well as they want, so they're holding back on those jobs numbers. Remember when I told you I'm not necessarily going to trust the numbers that the government comes out with because I think they're going to manipulate stuff? Well, there's your sign of manipulation. You don't need an extra 11 days. You're waiting on purpose. When's that Fed meeting? Huh? Yeah. Fear and greed index is back down to 11. Oops. We're moving in the wrong direction. $122.507 billion in total value locked in the DeFi space. Not something I'm happy about. Again, you know I like to be in the 150 range. But I think right now we're dealing with a lot of manipulation. Just saying, here's where we are. Look how far we've dropped. Right? Just look how far we've dropped. We're all the way down here. So far away from all-time highs. It's really not that far away. Really not that far away. The word for the next few days is going to be fortitude. Just saying. So, yeah, you had a low all the way down here in the 88 range. We're back up to 91 and change. When money starts flowing again, everybody's, well and done with the whole, stock market thing, and things start flowing back over to crypto. I think that's going to be where we are. I think if we hear a little bit more news about more infrastructure moves, infrastructure being built, infrastructure being used, that's when things are going to start to take off. Just saying. I think that's where we are. Take a look at this big board. Yeah, things are still where I want them to be. People are like, why would you say that, Eddie? Because BNB is at 901.99, basically 902, right? That's where BNB is. ETH is hovering. Look at where the numbers are. ETH hovering around 3,000. BNB hovering around 900. XRP playing with $2. Solana at 141, up from the 130 range that they were at yesterday, 130s. ADA is down. Cardano's down at 46. It's under 50 cents. Are you serious? You can't, some people that don't do their research every day the way they're supposed to are looking at these charts and probably thinking, oh my God, when they should be thinking, wow, there's a massive sale going on. You think I'm nuts, but that's what you should be thinking. There's a massive sale going on. Which one do I want? That's how I'm looking at it. And I'm weighing everything appropriately. BTC, ETH, BNB, BCH, XRP, Sol, Cardano, XLM, LTC, AVAX, SUI under $2. What? Hell yeah. At Link, Uni. Anybody else over in this section? I still love VeChain. I still play around with VeChain. Ton is one that I love. Hype. Some people I know are messing around with Leo. H-bar is something I still love. It's the tech, man. It's the tech. Poll is something I'm looking at. I'm telling you, there are sales all over the place. All over the place. And you're going to sleep on that? You're snoring. That's what you're doing. Oh, okay. Good for you. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits. Absolutely invest deliberately. The GMB 3. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Yeah, I'm not going to repeat that. I'm not going to repeat that. Looking at these boards, what do you see? I see that my two big hitters are down year to date. The rhythm of these coins sucks right now, right? To me, it just smells like opportunity. Even when I look at BNB over here, when I look at XRP, yeah, sure, they're in the green, but I look at both of those, massive opportunity. Massive opportunity. If you're into Solana, you've got to say to yourself, oh, this represents massive opportunity. If you've done your research on that, opportunity, right? I look at this for my wallet, my risk framework. I see a lot of opportunities for me to make money. My biggest problem is going to be what percentage and in what time frame am I going to make that money? And I've got calculations for that. And I'm quite happy about it. Just saying. So yeah, pay attention. Keep your nose in the news. I just want to see from a big board thing. Yeah, you notice that things are a little bit different now. Yeah, they are a little bit different, aren't they? We're about to launch. This puppy. Just saying. We're all over it. So looking at this, I don't know this one. Let's see. We keep going. Who do I know? Zebek Network is down 7.87%. I know a lot of people have been messing around with that. It's got a GMB X factor of 1.63. That's its GMB X factor for Zebek. Anybody else I'm paying attention to? Helium. I haven't paid attention to Helium in a long time. I just remember the name. Haven't held it in a long time. It's got a GMB X factor of 25.26, down 5.1%, 5.15%. Yeah, there's everybody else that I care about. Yeah, no, they're beyond. Look at that. I'm not worried about any of those. Ton. That's basically moving laterally. 3%, that's moving laterally. So when I look at the winners, this is a different story. Don't know you. Farcoin is up 17.24. I should start paying attention to Farcoin. And some people are sitting there going, but that's a meme. Yeah. And that meme seems to be operating within a range. Yeah. So I'll be doing some research on Farcoin. It's got a GMB X factor of 7.35. But in this case, I'm not worried about the GMB X factor. I'm worried about volatility. That's what I care about. I care about its volatility. What else we have going on? Zcash is at 8.81% up. Got a GMB X factor of 3.74. Paying attention to that because Zcash has been moving. But that's another one that could be operating in a range or somewhat in a level in levels of predictability that I don't mind. So I'm going to be doing some research into that. Haven't touched Flow in years. I'm not even looking at that. Aptos. Yeah, you're in my 5% range. I don't really care. Anything below 5% plus or minus, I don't really care about. It would have to be consecutive days of positive movement or negative movement for me to pay attention to a move that's less than 5%. Just saying. GMB X factor 5.57. I think Aptos is currently still a part of the connective tissue, but they need to advertise. They need to advertise, in my humble opinion. I will say this, something that jumps out at me right now, Pump.Fun with coming out at 3.55%. No, it's not a number I pay attention to, but it is something where I'm seeing, a range develop for Pump.Fun as well. They got a GMB X factor of 1.77. So when I say range, I'm looking for it to create its own band. Say, hey, I seem to be operating within this space. And then I'm going to look for telltale signs that tell me when it's going to go up, when it's going to come down, or if it's purely based on market macro events. So that's what I'm looking at these days. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your friends about us because we are making moves. We're making big moves. You can see that we've got big, bright stories coming along. We've got a whole lot of information coming. I just found out yesterday, my team told me we have over 12,000 articles. What? Yeah. Soon to be searchable, no less. It's going to be pretty cool. So we've got a lot of tools. We've got more tools coming. It's this platform is going to be an investor's dream. And the reason why I say so is because it's a 100% social network geared toward investing. Knowledge is power. Everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your trust. I'll see you again tonight for the Crypto Overflow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody have a good one until then. Bye-bye.